guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
That's right. Welcome in to one of the most innovative segments in all of sports media. Write that down and an accountability session where we keep track of predictions with statistics unlike any show in America. I was watching some of those ESPN shows yesterday afternoon and this morning. Like, they're all making predictions. They all have their takes and their thoughts on things. And then, whether they're right or they're wrong, a day goes by, a week goes by, a month goes by, and no one knows. That's why this is going to go over Judd's head, but I love how when you watch WWE versus AEW, AEW puts the results of the matches. They have records for each wrestler.
Yeah, I love that.
The wrestler will go down to the ring, and it's like, Samoa Joe is 13-2 in 2023 in AEW, including 2 pay-per-view wins. I like to know how accurate, how good are my wrestlers? How accurate is Judd Zulgad at making prognostications?
This segment is where reckless speculation meets reality, and it's very harsh for us. It's like crashing head-on into a wall. Because for the most part, we recklessly speculate and, pass it off as, hey, this is the time where our feet are held to the fire, and we better be damn right.
Yeah, if you're just going to recklessly speculate without actually being held accountable, then what are we doing?
What are we doing here?
Let's fire this up, Declan. Let's hit the music.
Most sports talking heads make predictions, then hope you forget about how wrong they were. But not Mackey and Judd.
Write this down.
This is the big leagues, where we own our terrible predictions.
Write that down.
And keep track of each other's batting averages. It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackey and Judd.
And here's how it works. 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs here on the classic Mackey and Judd edition. And listeners, if you want to be like Mark and participate, Mark will join us here shortly. You can just send us a message through the Score North app. There's a feedback tab at the bottom, and we'll get you scheduled sometime here in the next few weeks or the next few months. So we'll start with Judd on the accountability session. I wanted to highlight this one. It didn't come off the board yet, but you said Zadarius Smith, Eric Kendricks, and Jordan Hicks will all not be with the Vikings in 2023.
That's going to end up being wrong.
Well, I think we have to keep this on the board until like the week 1 rosters are set, because there is a chance Jordan Hicks could just be like a camp casualty, right?
Good point. I created an out. Kids, if you are practicing, write that down at home. Follow Sports Dad's lead and create outs. Even if you think that Jordan Hicks should and would be cut earlier, this gives me a little bit more time. I'm buying myself time. Good point.
Kids, follow Judd's advice in all walks of life, and you'll
be just fine.
You'll be just like him.
Yep, you'll make it to 53, happy and drinking coffee.
So, old Macadac fell off the Wolves prediction wagon. I told you a couple weeks ago. This team it's the least predictable team in the entire league. And then this morning they sent out a vague update on Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yeah, what the hell?
It's like the Timberwolves Twitter account or PR account. Here's an update on Karl-Anthony Towns. You have to click the link and go in. It's like, okay. Yeah.
Here's an update.
This better
there really
be good,
is
right?
No update.
Basically, they said he's doing some basketball stuff, and he will be returning sometime in the coming weeks. Don't ask us any more questions. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like the worst calf strain in modern medical history.
This thing has been handled from the jump so poorly, in my opinion. Like, it's a star player. Come on.
Why was it announced as a 4 to 6 week injury off the jump if it was a grade 3 calf strain? And even grade 3, it's like usually 12 weeks recovery. Well, we're coming up on 16 weeks.
And why did the player have to straighten things out? Because he's the one that came on and said, no, this is the worst calf strain that you can have. Just come out and say that.
My leg was actually detached from my
They
torso.
took it off. When I flew home from Washington, they
put
checked
it in the
my
overhead.
leg. No, they checked my leg. And then I got it back when actually it got lost because instead of going to Minneapolis, it accidentally went to Seattle.
Freaking Spirit.
Yeah,
it
went to Seattle.
Leg.
Then they had to reroute it. It went to Florida. And I'm like, am I ever going to get that leg back?
So I fell off the Wolves prediction wagon, and even though I said I wasn't going to make any more Wolves predictions, I said, well, they're going to win their next 2 games, right? They're going to beat the Nets at home and then the Hawks. Well, they beat the Hawks, but they did not beat the Nets. So. Wrong. All right, listeners, Barry said the Gopher men's basketball team would make the NCAA tournament in 2023. We had to leave this on the board until it was officially no longer possible. They did win a game in the Big Ten tournament. Made it pretty interesting there. But
Nebraska,
that did
right?
not happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take that, Fred Hoiberg.
And then Cody said Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson will not be teammates in 2023. I guess if, like, the Vikings trade for Thielen at the deadline, maybe revisit this, but I think you're good. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Caitlin Thielen would allow that to happen. And Dex, you had one thing come off the board. You said at least one of these 3 players, Johnny Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, or Rory McIlroy, would not make the cut at the Players, and Rory for sure missed the cut. Did we say this was a home run?
You did say that.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, give him a home run.
It's a home run. Couldn't remember.
Rory was terrible. I think like 76, 74. Not a good showing for Rory.
And Scotty Scheffler, just
my
a
God.
dominant performance, $4.5 million. The guy had 0 PGA Tour wins like 15 months ago, and now he's the best player. It's either him or John Rahm are the best players of the world. So with that, I didn't give you the home run credit here. You actually have 2 home runs with a .625 batting average, Declan. And really, the upset of the week was Phil Mackey remembering to change the 2022 date to 2023 at the top of the screen here.
Nice work, graphics
Good,
guy.
Macadac.
Way to go, graphics.
That's right.
Score North
Judd.
graphics. Always letting us down. I'm glad to see they finally got with it.
Judd's at 571 with 1 home run. Listeners at 250 with 1 home run, and I'm off to a slow start with a 143 average and no home runs all time. Declan has a 390 average. It leads the league. Judd has 266 hits. That leads the league. Listeners have 43 home runs. That leads the league. So there you have it. There's your accountabilities. Let's get guest listener predictor Mark in the room here making his Mackey and Judd write that down debut. He's been on Purple Daily before. Mark, what's going on, man? Welcome back.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
So remind us, what's your history as a Minnesota sports fan, Mark?
Well, as far as the Vikings were concerned, I know there was something going on in 1969, but I was just a little kid. But there was a stirring going on in the family. There was some kind of Super Bowl party or something like that. I couldn't quite tell.
Okay.
But really, my best memories are in the middle to late 70s. I used to go out to the old Metropolitan and watch the Twins play, get the cheapest ticket I could get, and sit out in left field and watch guys like Larry Heisel and Bostock and watch those guys play.
So
Teams could hit, man.
How do you feel when you hear young whippersnappers like Declan or myself or even like younger kids really complaining about what it's like to be a Minnesota sports fan when you've been through the 70s, the 80s?
I'm okay with guys like Judd and I. You got to be 50 or older. But
Okay.
these young guys, you haven't seen it yet. You just don't know. You don't know what disappointment is like until you live this long.
Respect
I will
our
say this
sports
though.
dads.
I will say this, Mark. They didn't get they were alive for, in Phil's case, the second one, but they didn't get 2 World Series championships. So we do have that.
Yeah.
Like we saw the parades, we saw that. I actually almost feel worse for guys who are younger because they've got, as far as the 4 men's professional sports teams go, they got nothing.
Yeah. Right.
Like we at least have we have 2 World Series within 4 or 5 years. Game 7s, which are just so special. Morris, his performance in Game 7, 91. So I will say, as much devastation as we've seen, we have been to the top of that mountain, and it's pretty damn good.
Well, the one thing for sure is whether it's football or baseball or whatever sport, when you see it now and then you're in your 50s or 60s like me, and you'll look back, I know exactly where I was for 87 and 91. Just never forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like for us, Declan and I are like, we know exactly where we were when the Twins beat the A's in the divisional round that one time in 2002. It's great. When the Vikings beat Tony Romo in the playoffs. Very exciting. All right, so we're going to go around the room 3 different times here, 1 prediction for each lap. We're going to start with Mark, over to Judd, over to Declan, back to Judd, over to Declan, cycles over to Judd.
Hello?
And then I'll round us out here. So Mark, you're in the batter's
Write
box.
it down. You like writing things down.
Oh, by the way, all my predictions will be done by next week's accountability session. So
Attaboy. Nice
Because
work.
Oh, you're not like me at all, Mark.
No, because with Purple Daily, I went 0 for 3 last year. I'm looking to go 3 for 3 this time.
Okay.
Coming up on the Felsbar Championship this weekend. Keegan Bradley and Sam Burns will finish in the top 5.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. That's a home run.
I think
Keegan Bradley, a little bit of a resurgence.
Yeah.
Keegan Bradley is one of my favorite golfers to watch because it looks like he's using kids' golf clubs. He like bends halfway over at the waist and he does the waggle thing, and he's like his arms are dangling down by the fairway, and he's got these tiny little clubs.
It is a little risky. I don't know. Sam Burns going for a 3-peat, but I think it's a good home run.
I like it. It's definitely a home run, and whenever you make a golf prediction, it definitely it resonates with Declan and me.
Well, if we can get past this weekend, then we'll be playing golf in April.
God willing, Mark.
All right, Judd, what's your first prediction here?
Till more snow comes. My first prediction is this. In light of all of the stuff going on with Cat, we have, I think we've assumed that he might be shopped this summer. But definitively, I'm going to say this, write this down. Karl-Anthony Towns is going to ask for a trade.
Wow.
I feel like things have gotten so weird. This whole thing's been weird. The statement today is weird. I think a player having to tell you what's wrong is very, very weird. I think he's going to look at what transpired when he did, during that brief time, try to play with Gobert. Conley's not his guy at all. And I think he's going to say, you know what? I've had enough here. He's going to ask for a trade.
Okay.
Do you want to?
I don't know who'll get it.
This?
Before training camp.
Okay.
Before training camp.
Okay. All right. I think so. Well, Dex, you go first, actually, because you're before me. So go.
All right. I'll make a March Madness prediction.
Write this down.
Each 1 through 4 seed in the March Madness tournament will win their opening round matchup. So no 13, 14, 15, or 16 seed will win a game. This is essentially a 16-team parlay.
This is interesting because he's picking chalk, but the odds of chalk happening,
Very low.
maybe someone can do the math on that. But I think this is a home run because
It is.
it is a 16-team parlay.
It's a home run.
Okay.
For sure.
I feel like a 13, is obviously the odds would be better for them than 14, 15, or 16. But usually you get a 13 that sneaks in there, so in one of the brackets. But I'll say all first 1 through 4 seeds win their opening round matchup.
Yep.
Okay.
And don't forget, too, college basketball sucks.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Like a 13, like it's not like when Mark and I were young and a 4 was like, oh my God, look at that 4. Now they're often not that good.
What was it like when you guys woke up in like 1976 and you walked outside and the world was in color for the first time?
Well,
Was that crazy for you guys?
First of all, before you say walked outside, we would go downstairs walking in the gloriousness of our shag carpets.
Yes.
Except for the damn thumbtacks that would get in the shag carpets and you couldn't see them, and so you'd step on them. And then
Why are there thumbtacks?
Because anything could fall in a shag carpet and you wouldn't see it.
Okay.
Mark can attest to this.
Yeah,
and
mom would vacuum every day.
Okay, not God rest my mom's soul. We didn't get that in my house. and then we'd walk past the kitchen, which would have, I'm not joking, turquoise appliances, which were absolutely awful. So before we got outside, we got the full 70s experience.
America was colorblind for about 10 or 15 years there, for sure.
Yeah,
Walked
ours
up that
was,
hill.
Avocado green.
Oh, yeah, we had one of those. My parents had that ripped out of our house like a week after we moved in. Our dishwasher was avocado green.
Amazing.
Write this down.
All right, write this down. So I'll make a Karl-Anthony Towns prediction here, too. Kaprizov will play in a game for the Wild before Cat plays in a game for the Timberwolves.
Oh, I like that.
Because I think it feels like Kaprizov is going to be, and it might just be up to the Wild medical staff to hold him back. But I think Kaprizov's going to be, it's a playoff run, and it is for the Wolves too, but I think there's going to be a little bit more urgency for Kaprizov to come back. There's something weird about the Cat thing. So Kaprizov will play in a game for the Wild before Cat plays in a game for
I like
Wolves.
that one.
All right.
Write this down.
All right, back to shag carpeting Mark. Avocado Mark. Avocado green Mark.
Avocado green, yeah.
I'm going with the Wild again on this one. The Wild have 4 games between now and next week, starting with the Blues tonight. The Wild will earn 6 points between now and next week's. Write that down.
Okay.
So they're at the Blues, then the Bruins and the Caps are here,
Yeah,
and then they're at the Devils on Tuesday.
tough.
It's going to get me 6 points, I think.
Are we going? Are we going at least 6, or are you trying to peg it exactly 6?
No, thanks for that. Yeah, at least 6.
At least 6. Okay. All right. Good stuff.
Write this
I
down.
like it, Judd.
Write this down. The Minnesota Twins will not have all of their games this season on Bally Sports North. So Sinclair / Diamond Sports Group has declared bankruptcy today with something like $87 billion in debt or something. It's absolutely ridiculous. Rob Manfred and baseball are itching to take, I think, the rights in-house because they can get around blackouts. They can become more popular. It won't be less expensive, but it'll actually make them far more popular with young people that don't get the restrictions. But if baseball takes this in-house, they get around that. So I'm convinced that they're going to find an excuse at some point here during the course of the summer or spring to yank the games off Bally and take them in-house, and that will include the Twins. So the write that down, Dex, is that they won't have all of their games, that their games basically will move off of Bally Sports North at some point in 2023.
And so for clarification, because there's going to be nights where they have an Apple TV game or something.
That's not what I'm talking about.
They will be moving off of Bally at some point.
The rights will move, correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and I just signed up for Fubo, which carries Bally's. So at $92 a month. Thanks for the good news there, Judd.
Oh, you should see my cable bill, Mark. It's stupid. It's ridiculous.
See, Fubo, so the math, I think YouTube TV is $65, but you don't get Bally's, but then you pay $20 a month for Bally's, and the math works out better. And so it's all a big puzzle with these streaming platforms, right?
Yeah,
but
Fubo was $75 and then $10 for the regional.
So I can add a little color to this, that I have been told local teams are actively having conversations with Bally's alternatives, foreseeing this exact thing. That like right now everything's okay, like Bally's is going to keep operating, but I have been told local teams are doing their due diligence on a plan B for the second half of the 2023 calendar year. So that's right.
Juicy.
Big capital J journalism hat here for
Nice work there.
old Macadac.
I know
Write
of
it
a
down. You
station
like
that
writing
has
things
plenty
down.
of time to offer.
Declan, what's your next prediction?
All right, write this down. I'm going to make a wild prediction as well. They've been scoring goals, weirdly enough, without Kaprizov. So write it down. The Wild will score 6 goals in a game between now and next week's. Write that down. They will log 6 goals in a game, at least 6 goals in a game between now and next week's. Write that down.
Almost got him there. Almost got him. When the
And you
Wild
weren't
lights
gonna
it
bail
up
him out?
seven
The
times
Wild?
on an
Yeah,
empty
me bailed
netter.
The Wild?
Oh, well.
All right, write this
Write
down.
it down. You like writing things down.
So I guess, I don't know. You tell me if this is I can be more specific if needed here, but I'm going to give you a little upset sort of parlay. It's not a parlay. It's an either or. Either 13 seed Furman or 13 seed Kent State will pull an upset in the NCAA tournament. If I just give you those two as an either or, is that a home run?
I think so. They're both 13 seeds, right?
They're both 13 seeds.
And you're only saying one
borderline.
of the two. No, I think
borderline.
it is. I think
fine
it
with
is. Because if you said all 4, I don't think you could do all 4.
Giving you 2.
Yeah,
Furman
he's
and Kent
giving you
State.
2. Yeah, this is fine.
Okay. It's like a Joe Mauer first row and left field home run, flower pot home run.
I think it is.
Okay. Furman or Kent State will pull an upset.
There's a drive to left field. It's deep. It's caught it.
And it's caught in front
Write
of
it
the
down.
wall.
You like
Caught
writing
4
things
steps in
down.
front of the
Fifth.
warning track. Little Bramergasm. All right, Mark, what's your third and final prediction?
So I'm going NCAA too, and again, I want to make sure everything's done by next week's show. So I'm going number 7. Texas A&M will reach the Sweet 16.
All right. That's kind of random. What's your logic there?
2 things. I think I heard something last night at work on the radio, and then I don't know. There's so much to choose from the just looking at the board right now. So I was going to do something with Who was it? Oh, Arizona State, who plays tonight. I know a lot of guys like them too. So I was thinking about going with them.
Is this the most like random the NCAA tournament has ever felt for you guys?
It's the least I've cared.
We don't know. There's like 5 recognizable players maximum, if that. The team, the number 1 seeds are not these dominant 32-win regular season teams. I think isn't Alabama the number 1 overall seed? They lost 5 times in the regular season.
Yeah, Alabama or
Houston.
North Carolina. Yeah, maybe Houston was, but North Carolina is not in the tournament. Just kind of, I don't know. It is the first couple days are fun still because it's just you're watching upsets and excitement and whatnot, but it's definitely not the same.
Well, to get there, they got to beat number 10 Penn State, and then they'll probably face Texas, number 2. So I think both those games will be fun to watch.
Okay.
Being a Big Ten guy.
Mark, great stuff here, man. Nice job, and thank you for expediting the dates of these predictions too. Sometimes people like put stuff out toward the end of the year, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, I was going to try and figure out to make a joke about that, but I thought I'll just cut to it.
those people, they
yeah.
make me sick.
Well, Mark, since you've got this life-changing platform again here on Mackey and Judd, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that brought you to this pinnacle moment?
I would like to thank March and April. I mean, this is just a great time of year to be a sports fan. I mean, whether you're watching the Twins during March and predicting how they're going to do starting in April, or whether you look at the cut line this past week here in March, deciding who they're going to pick in April for the draft. You got to watch the Wild and the Timberwolves because you've got to figure out where they're going to be in the playoffs starting in April. I just think March and April are just great sports times around here.
Love it. Mark becomes the first person in Write That Down history not to thank a family member, a friend, a parent, but to thank the calendar.
Thanks too much. And he's exactly right. March is such a great month. I love it.
It really is.
Great stuff, man. We'll do it again, I'm sure. See ya.
Love the show.
See ya.
Thank you. All right. Good luck with your predictions. Oh man, March is a sneaky great month for sports.
It is.
It's fantastic.
You got all the teams are in action in some form, even though football is not playing. Football is maybe as exciting as it ever is because they're everyone's remaking their rosters. Real quick before we get to the last few predictions here, we do have Byron Murphy contract details, and we can talk more about this on Purple Daily later too. But so it's a 2-year deal. $17.5 million total, $12.6 million guaranteed, $7 million signing bonus. This is very complicated. So it's basically like it's either like a 1-year deal with $12.5 million guaranteed. There's like an injury guarantee in there somewhere. So it's a $4.6 million cap hit for 2023, which is one of the key details. And then if you wanted to get out from under it, if he was just underwhelming, you could after 2023. So $4.6 million cap hit for 2023. Very, very low cap hit for a 25-year-old rock solid cornerback with a bunch of upside.
To prove it, right?
Yes.
Gambles on himself. The Davenport contracts and the profiles of the guys that they're signing and the contracts are really intriguing. Because in both cases, if it's not good, they're gone, which is fine. But if they are, there's an opportunity then probably to go long-term at that point. Or longer term.
Here's a Rodgers update while we're at it from Pelissero. He says the Packers and the Jets continue to negotiate on Aaron Rodgers' trade, but have not yet agreed to trade terms, according to sources.
Did you see the report from Schefter today on Get Up, your show, Phil? So Schefter reported that the Packers are asking for what the Rams gave the Lions, a Stafford return, which is, I think, a couple first-round picks. And that the Jets are more like, why don't we do that old Favre where I think it was a conditional draft pick? And so, this thing might not be Aaron Rodgers at the end of the day might not be the biggest problem. It might be the compensation because the Jets aren't wrong. I think they're saying this guy's 39. We might get a year from him and you want a couple first-round picks.
So it says, Pelissero says Green Bay isn't looking for multiple first-round picks like other QBs have commanded in recent years.
Okay, Schefter said that
talks
they
around
were.
Going.
But anyway.
Oh, wow. Pelissero versus Schefter.
Oh, it's
Let's
on.
rumble.
Oh, are you kidding? These guys, I'm telling you, these guys are getting calls on the air and saying, I'm on the air. Don't give the information to anyone else. And they're hanging up.
I just want to know who's on the other end of the phone that works for a team who's like, I I gotta call Schefter,
Agents.
and then I gotta call.
It's the agents.
Okay.
It's the agents, because then the quid pro quo is I pump your client's tires.
Yeah, and pump the agency, as you see a lot of these. Schefter will.
Yeah. CAA or something. You're right.
This amazing agent confirms that his client is going to have generational wealth. If you are a college player looking to have generational wealth, here's an agent for you. All right, Dex, before we get to the final few predictions, tell the audience how they can have more fun watching sports.
That's right. That's with Underdog Fantasy, the best and easiest way to play fantasy sports. We had Mark made a Valspar prediction. I'm going to probably make one as well. Let's take a look at some of those odds. Maybe a little Joel Dahman at 71 right now. I'll write a little under on that. He's been the darling of the Netflix series. You could also mix in, obviously, even spring training parlays. Yeah, there's spring training odds even for strikeouts and whatnot. You can join so many different sports and pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy. New users get a $100 bonus when you sign up with Underdog Fantasy with promo code SCORE, SKOR. Go download the Underdog Fantasy app.
All right, boys. 3 more predictions here. Final stretch. Judd, what is
Write
your
this down.
third and final prediction?
All right. I am going to give you a Twins prediction. Either Byron Buxton or Jorge Polanco will end up on the injured list before May 1st.
That might happen before April 1st.
I know, and
what
I
I'm
was
gonna
I was tempted. I was tempted, but I thought they might bring it along slowly and then say, "Oh yeah, you just don't look right yet." So I'm going to give myself a little bit of wiggle room. But so Buxton or Polanco will end up on the injured list before May 1st. The key there being one of them. So I'm not saying both.
Write this down.
Although off the record, I wouldn't be surprised by anything.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Dex.
All right, last one for me. I'll make a Dahman prediction here. I'll put this on the record. He'll shoot a 66 or better in one of his rounds this weekend.
That's a home run, right?
Yeah, he'll log a 66 or better. For context, he did shoot a 66 on Friday at Pebble Beach a month and a half ago, but that was honestly mostly a rough round for him. But a 66 or better, I believe it is a par 72 at Palm Harbor in Florida.
That's a home run.
Yeah, you're good.
Yep. 71, par 71. But yeah,
66 is so 66 on either Thursday or Friday, today or tomorrow, or tomorrow
Thursday
or
or Friday, or obviously if he makes the cut, Saturday or Sunday too.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. I'm gonna go big here. I'm gonna make a long-term Twins prediction. All right.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna be firings. I don't know if it's gonna be someone just moving on. But by the end of the 2023 calendar year, either Thad Levine or Derek Falvey will not be with the Twins organization anymore. It's been a while since there's been. I mean, they didn't even change their coaching staff, for God's sake. So.
You think Joe?
I could see it two ways. I could see the season being disappointed, and maybe Joe Pollard gets antsy and decides to shake things up, or maybe the Twins win a World Series, and Thad then gets the president of baseball operations job with another organization. There's a lot of ways for this to happen, but the partnership of Falveen will be no longer by the end of the 2023 calendar year. Write it down.
Interesting. You know what would be fun? Since Joe is, it sounds like the guy that said, our jerseys are boring. We got to change things up. If they have a bad year, if you forced Rocco, Derek, and Thad to dress in public at the ballpark as clowns. So if they have like when Baldelli comes out to change a pitcher, he's got to come out with the clown horn and go and like ramble out. I just think it'd be fun. I'd go to a game to see that, wouldn't you guys? I'd pay to see that.
I'd like to see Judd as the owner of a sports team or the president of operations or something. Just he doesn't fire his managers or coaches. He just humiliates them.
Embarrasses them.
It's time for his post-game press conference.
Listen, Rocco, we're still going to pay you, but you're going to put these clown shoes on for the homestand.
You have to be a mime.
You're going to get sprayed by water with Judd's flour on his little suit coat. He's going to
come into my office. Yeah.
Would this not sell tickets? Did you see what they announced today?
They're announcing 3 family-friendly concession areas inside Target Field with affordable hot dogs, and it's like $3.99 hot dogs. Yeah. It's like popcorn for $2.99 or whatever.
What's a
beer? I don't think they serve beer.
Nope, you can. You can get a Budweiser or a Bud Light for $5. It's right behind my old section. Right, season tickets last year.
What's a craft beer, Dex?
That's not an option. You only get a Bud or a Bud
Those are
Light
still
for $5.
$43 at the normal stand.
What if I'm a dad that likes craft beer? I'm just screwed?
That is correct. You will
So
drink
there
Bud
wa-
Light and like it.
So what they're basically saying is, at these 3 concessions, you can get a hot dog for $4 and a beer for like $5. But if you went to those concessions, the same hot dog will cost you whatever, $5, right? Isn't that kind of what's happening?
That's what it sounds like. So if I'm in the upper deck or something and I don't go to the family-friendly concession and I just want a standard dog, I've got to pay full freight?
That is correct.
I think so. So you're basically
three
saying,
sections.
Why not just have the
because
hot dogs
those
be the
3
same price?
concessions are going to be the longest lines, right? Because people love to wait in line to save a couple bucks, and then you have to decide, is it worth an extra 10 or 15 minutes of my time at this ballpark to save $4 on my hot dog or beer?
What? Okay, why not just discount Bud Light, and hot dogs
Across the whole stadium?
Kramarchucks. I mean, just hot dogs, your standard hot dog across the entire stadium.
I agree.
Now, I will say this: the one good thing is because the games are going to go far quicker now, that you're going to be able to pre and post game elsewhere more often, like quicker.
What do you mean? You're saying
I'm saying that especially post game, if you go to a game now, can go to O'Donovan's or something pretty quickly because the game will be done quicker. And beer is not cheap there, but it's cheaper than the ballpark.
Oh, so you're saying like you can get out on a Tuesday night if you want to get
just
ripped a
hit
little
it.
bit more at
You
you
can
can
just
get out
hit
you
it.
can get out there at
I mean,
9:45 instead of
Uber,
10:15.
and be careful, but you can just get sloshed elsewhere.
I was struggling to figure out how the pregame part of that. 'cause
Yeah,
you
the pregame, post game. Post game.
Like-
It's incredible.
You're like the
you just
games are
get
shorter,
sloshed.
so you can get drunker for pregame. Like what?
Yeah, no, you're right. I should have just said post game. You can just get inebriated at post game, and because the game will be done, hey, it's Monday night. Red Sox Twins just got done in 2:12. Yay! It's 9:15. We can drink till 1.
How has it's been a couple weeks since I've sort of checked in on how the pitch clock is going? Are people still bitching about the pitch clock? Are players settling in?
The Yankees Twins played a game a couple days ago. 2:12. I'm not sure.
2:12?
It was like 2:12.
Oh, this is great.
Royce
And you're not getting rid of action. You're getting rid of the non-action.
Yeah.
You're getting rid of the downtime between the action.
Yes.
It's great.
If you want the alternative right now, the World Baseball Classic has no new rules. So like you can see what it used to be like.
Well,
Stepping out. adjusting
the
stuff.
next pitch of the World Baseball Classic that I watch will be the first pitch of the World Baseball Classic.
I watched a little
have
bit of
zero interest in the World Baseball Classic.
I watched a little bit of the U.S. Canada a couple nights ago, which I think turned into a 7-inning 10 or 12 run game. And so the game, that's the one good thing is they do have 2 mercy rules. One is like after 5, if you're up by 12, it's over. And I think if you're up by 10 after 7, it's over.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I get what they're trying to do with the
have no
World
problem
Baseball
not watching.
Classic, but it's just like, it's spring training, man.
There's no
Yeah,
good time for it. There's no good. The unfortunate thing is international baseball has no place.
Well, and with guys like Vance Worley starting, I saw Vance Worley pitch
Great
in one of
Britain.
these games.
Struck out Mike Trout.
Great Britain? What is his
Great
British
Britain.
connection?
There's some great stories going on.
His favorite bar in Minneapolis was Brits, and so
Yes,
therefore
Brits.
he's eligible to play for Great
Spent a
Britain.
lot of time
Really.
at Brits. Yeah.
The fact that Vance is still pitching amazed me. He's an old man.
Well, what is
animal.
he? But like, has he been? That's my question. Does he just have to dust off his labrum? Has he been pitching professionally in the last 2 or 3 years? That's the funny
Hey Doc, can you dust this thing off? I'm ready to go, Skip. Well,
thing.
here's
It's like when's the last time that guy pitched in the major leagues? Vance Worley. Let's pull him up here since we're down this rabbit hole.
I think it was like with Baltimore in like probably 2017 or something.
It was Baltimore 16, Miami in 2017,
Okay.
Nice.
and so it's been 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
He had a 6.91 ERA. But he's been pitching independent ball, Kane County,
Okay.
in the
County Cougars.
in the American Association.
Saints Old League.
Okay, so he's been
County
he's
Cougars.
34 years old. He pitched 114 innings for the Kane County Cougars last year.
Here's my
I stand
question.
corrected. He's still a
Where's-
professional baseball player.
Where's Nolasco? There are so many twins from like circa 2016 who should be in this thing right now. They're perfect candidates for it.
But if you're
Where's
Ricky
my guy
Nolasco,
Mastriani? He's right down the street from me. He should be someone. He should be in the World Baseball Classic playing for somebody.
he should be playing for Italy, I would think, right? So Ricky Nolasco made $82 million playing baseball in his career. He doesn't need the World Baseball Classic at all anymore.
The greatest Terry Ryan contract of all time, when the poll ad said, you got to spend on someone.
The fans and the ownership are like, we're getting killed for not spending money. Let's go. He's like,
He just went,
all right.
hey, Ricky Nolasco, you just won the lottery.
What are you going to do next?
Amazing. All
I'm
right.
going to buy some more muscle cars, idiot.
Come for the Write That Down predictions. Stay for the what are Vance Worley and Ricky Nolasco doing now conversation. Mackey and Judd over on Purple Daily. We've got you covered all week long, multiple episodes per day, discussing Vikings free agency news and roster fodder. So we'll see you over there, and we'll see you guys for a little Reckless Speculation Thursday tomorrow.